Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be talking to you about card play technique and how to take tricks with tiny cards. I have a bit of a new look because I'm undergoing chemo, and so this is the new look for a few months. And I just want to tell you before we get started, I want to tell you about my new book called Barbara's Bridge Tips. My name's Barbara Seagram, for those of you who I have not yet met. And if you would like to receive my newsletter, which goes out once every 7 to 10 days, and it has a quiz in it and bridge tips and an article and lots of stuff. And so if you are at all interested, do email me, barbaraseagram@gmail.com. And my website is www.barbaraseagram.com. And if you're interested in getting my book, it has defense and bidding and declare play, a little bit of everything. And with it, you also get a little summary of bidding and declare tips and defensive tips. So let me know. Now, we'll get started. Here we go. So really what we're working on today is long suits. So there you go. That's a long suit. But in the world of bridge, it's just a tad different. Long suit establishment, you can see that if you had the Queen, Jack, 10, 9, 8, for example, in one hand and maybe a couple little ones in the other hand, all you'd have to do is drive out the ace and the king. And then, of course, you'd have 3 tricks. Now, it may not be quite as obvious with a hand like this. Let's say spades or trumps, and you have a 6-card diamond suit in the dummy and 2 in declarer's hand. Well, that's 8. When you're missing 5, most of the time they're going to divide 3 in one hand and 2 in the other. So if you were to play the ace of diamonds first, and then a small diamond over to the king, and then trump one of those diamonds, well, most of the time, 3 of the diamonds in the dummy would now be high. So we're going to work on that and see if this is going to help you to be a better declarer and make more contracts and make more over tricks. So step 1 is to add up the cards in the long suit in declarers and dummies hands. And then you see how many do the opponents hold. So for example, if they hold 4, most of the time they'll divide 3 in one hand and 1 in the other. So how will the missing cards most likely divide? And then what you have to decide is, do you have enough entries to the long suit in the dummy in order to develop it? So we call it the odd even rule, because you're missing an odd number, they divide evenly, which is well. So if you're missing 5, they'll divide 3 and 2, because they can't divide 2 and a half, 2 and a half. That's as well as they can divide. And if you're missing 6, they'll divide 4 in one hand and 2 in the other, because that's missing an even number. They divide oddly, badly. Here's a chart of all the distributions. You do not need to know all the different percentages. Okay, for example, if you are missing 6 cards, they'll divide 4 and 2, 48% of the time, but that is most of the time, you see, because 3 and 3 is only 35% of the time, and 5 and 1 is only 14% of the time. So most of the time, they'll divide 48% of the time. You don't need to know the percentages. You do not. You just need to know that they're going to divide badly. So with 6, they're going to divide 4-2 as opposed to 3-3. And missing 5, they're going to divide 3-2. So those are the commonest ones. Missing 4, they'll divide 3 and 1 most of the time. Okay, so let's try it. Let's say in the dummy you had 4 in one hand and 2 in the other. That's 6. If the bad guys have 7 and they're going to divide 4 and 3, then one of the bad guys has as many as you do in that dummy. We're going to call this the dummy, and this is declarer's hand. So if one of the bad guys has as many as you do, and that 2 is not a 10, for example, it is not going to win a trick. So that would not be useful. But You see, that's how it's would be. Let's say I've given them the Jack 10, 9, 8, for example, but your 2 cannot win a trick when one of the bad guys has 4. Okay, so here though, however, this time we have a 5-card suit. 5 and 1 is 6. The opponents have 7, and they'll divide 4-3 most of the time. So if you could play the ace and the king, and then ruff a diamond, and then ruff one more diamond, then the 5th diamond in dummy most of the time will now be high. And in which case you would be able to throw away a loser on that extra diamond winner in the dummy on your long suit, provided you have ultimately pulled all the trumps. So you want to always be super happy when partner lays down a 5-card suit in the dummy. So the next step is to see if you can get to dummy enough times to set up this long suit, okay? So now we're going to move over to BBO. And by the way, I hope you're playing lots of bridge on BBO. I play every single day throughout COVID, unless something really important has come up as a terrible alternative. And so you really should try to do this and try to play at your local clubs and support your local clubs, because other organizations will be there after COVID, but your local club won't be if you don't support it. And of course, you want to play in the ACBL tournaments, like the regionals, like you're playing in this week, I hope. So thank you. Now, let's have a look. Okay, now we're going to just cover your eyes for a moment. Just going to cover for a minute so you can't peek. There we go. It's a little primitive, but it's better than nothing. Okay, now I'm going to do the bidding for you, and we're not going to be discussing the bidding because unfortunately I only have half an hour with you. And so while I would like to go on and on and on, I'm going to do the bidding without any discussion, just so that we can cover some territory. So 1 heart, 1 spade by west, 2 hearts by north, 2 spades by east. You'll have to take my word for it because you can't see. And south is going to bid 4 hearts. Don't forget, when partner supports your suit, always revalue and always count your distribution when partner has supported your suit. When you found a fit, always count your distribution. The only time you really don't count your distribution at all is in no trumps, primarily at the get-go. Okay, so you're in 4 hearts, and West has led. So I'm going to tell you that West leads the king of spades. So what we do is we count losers in the declarer's hand. And this is the declarer's hand. Here we go. I'll put my little spotlight on. There we go. Okay. And we count losers in the declarer's hand because that's the hand that has the most trumps. And so if, for example, the dummy had more trumps than the declarer did, then we would make that the master hand and we would count our losers in that hand. For example, if we've had a transfer situation. But here, we're going to do it traditionally. We're going to count losers in declarer's hand, looking to dummy to see how dummy can help us with high cards. So in the heart suit, for example, we have no losers. In the spade suit, you have 1 loser because the ace of spades, of course, isn't going to win a trick, but it is going to win a trick, but the 2 of spades isn't. So you have 1 spade loser, you have 2 diamond losers, and lucky us, we have the king of clubs over in dummy to take care of one of our little losers here. But then we still have a loser. So we have 1 club loser and 2 diamond losers and 1 spade loser. Now, what on earth are you going to do about it? Because you have 4 losers. And by the way, you must make this plan at the start of every single hand of bridge that you play. It's terribly important because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And you must take 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. I've been playing for 46 years and I still take 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes at the start of every hand to make a plan. So the king of spades is led, and I know you're going to just play a little one, and this guy plays a little one, and you win your ace of spades. Now think in your heads for me, what are you going to do next? Are you going to pull trumps? Are you going to play clubs? Are you going to play diamonds? You're going to play another spade? What are you going to do? Well, we learned at Mother's Knee to pull trumps first, but we have 4 losers. We have one more than we can afford to have. And it's not going to go away just by pretending it's going to go away. So if you let the opponents in, of course, they're going to take 2 diamonds and 1 spade, but they can't take a club just yet. So if you pull trumps, though, then you'll lose 1 spade and 2 diamonds and 1 club. So there is something lurking in the dummy that doesn't look very pretty. In fact, it looks downright pathetic. But they're yours. They're a long suit. They're like your children. You're there to nurture and protect them and develop them into something special and worthwhile. So that is going to be your project suit. Now, if you were to make it your project suit and you pull trumps first, then let's say you didn't have any hearts over in the dummy. You'd have 1 entry left to the dummy to work on the diamonds and get back there again and again and again, but 1 entry isn't going to get you there. So therefore, the hearts are going to be your entry. So whenever you find yourself without an entry to the dummy or with not enough entries to the dummy, stop and think of the trump suit. It will frequently provide you with an entry or 2 or more. So now we're going to reveal all. And there we go. Okay, so now the opening lead is the king of spades, small spade, and we win the ace of spades. There's no point holding up on the ace of spades, none whatsoever, because they're just going to lead another one, okay? So now we're going to attack our project suit, keeping the king and 10 of hearts in the dummy as entries. Now, it's hard when you're playing bridge to give away tricks because we're basically stingy human beings. Now, West wins with the jack of diamonds, as you can see. What West must not do now is now play the ace of diamonds, because if they play the ace of diamonds, it says, let me give you a hand with making this contract. So when declarer leads a suit and it's her project suit, we as defenders should try very hard to not also lead that suit. Most of the time it's wrong. Confucius says, when both sides lead the same suit, somebody's crazy. Okay, so West should not lead the ace of diamonds now. They should keep going with the queen of spades. But now West mustn't lead any more spades because we seldom lead a suit that dummy doesn't have any of for fear that we will give declarer a slough and a rough. So in which case she could pitch, for example, a club from her hand if we let another spade and rough it in the dummy. And that will give her an extra trick. So she leads the jack of clubs, the top of her sequence, the next best sequence. And we want to keep that king of clubs as an entry to the dummy. So 6. And the 7 of clubs is played by East. Now that's called the equal honor signal, saying I have an honor that is equal to one that I know that you have, or that I see that you have, okay? So declarer wins with the ace of clubs, and now leads another diamond, 7 of diamonds, ace of diamonds, diamond, diamond. And West was encouraged by East's high club. Of course, the high club is only significant if you're playing standard signaling. If you were playing upside down signaling, she would have played the 2 of clubs. But I'm just going to go with standard signaling. And those of you who play upside down or some other carding, you'll just convert in your head so that I don't confuse everyone. Thank you. 10 of clubs. Now we have to win the king of clubs. 2 of clubs, 3 of clubs. Now, Our project suit is diamonds. So you're going to keep going like a pit bull with a bone. 5 of diamonds, king of diamonds. And now you're going to ruff high, because look what happens if you play the 4 of hearts. West is going to over trump with the 5 of hearts. So never send a boy to do a man's job. Besides which, you've been dealt the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. So South roughs with the 8 of hearts, and West discards a spade. And now we should cross to the dummy to work on diamonds one more time with feeling. You see, we had 5 diamonds in the dummy and 2 in our hand is 7. Missing 6, we were expecting them to divide 4 and 2. So we weren't surprised when West didn't follow suit with a diamond. 4 of hearts, 2 of hearts. Now we have a choice. We could win the king of hearts or the 10 of hearts. If you win the king of hearts, can you see that now you have to remember to keep the 9 of hearts to get to dummy's 10 of hearts? So it is better to use up your lower entries first, just because we're getting old and forgetful, all of us, including myself. So that way, there's 3 cards that are lower than the king that will get you to the dummy. Whereas if you had played the king first, there's only 1 card that's lower than the 10. So these are just little reminder aids. 8 of diamonds, king of diamonds. And now we can rough with the 9 of hearts and the 7 of spades. And now, the diamond in dummy is now high. Because if you are very new to the game and you can't manage to count all the suits, remember to always count the trump suit and always count your project suit, okay? So now you don't expect, you can see, I know, that the opponents each have a heart, but you don't expect them to divide 2 and 2. So you're going to pull 1 round in your hand so that you can get to the dummy with the king of hearts, and in case the hearts did not behave. And now you play the 13th diamond. This feels so good. 9 of diamonds, and you throw away your little club from your hand and you say, the rest are mine. So you made your contract, you lost 3 tricks, you lost 2 diamonds, you lost a spade, but you didn't lose a club. Okay, excellent. And now we're going to go to another hand. I know I'm probably going a little too fast, but as I say, I only have half an hour. And by the way, I do have a lot of recordings on my site if you are interested, and you can purchase sets. And I'll be doing a lesson on March the 10th on opening leads. And let's have a look. So let's bid this. South is going to open the bidding. It's a very hard hand to bid, but we'll do it for fun. 2 clubs, pass. North can bid 2 hearts, provided you're not playing 2 hearts as a super negative. I don't care for it anyway, but you know, everybody's got their personal preferences. And you know what? If it works for you and your partner, go for it. That's good. Okay, so 3 diamonds reveals South's true suit, pass. And now North first duty is to raise partner's suit, because partner obviously didn't like hearts, so they would have raised hearts. So 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 3 diamonds, 4 diamonds. Now, it's very difficult after this, because the only card South really cares about is the king of spades. And it's practically impossible to find out if partners got that card. It's very difficult. And we don't blackwood when we have a void. So we're just going to pray a whole lot and know that partner showed a good heart suit. And partner, when she bid 2 hearts, playing standard, no other agreement with partner, She promised 8 or more high card points and a great quality heart suit with 2 of the top 3 honors. So now South is just going to pray a whole lot and cross the fingers of their right hand, and they're bidding 7 diamonds. See what an easy game it is? So South is in 7 diamonds, and West is going to lead the Queen of Clubs. Just pretend. West leads the Queen of Clubs. Okay, so let's count losers. We have no club losers. We certainly have no diamond losers. We even have the Jack 9-8 and dummy to make us happy. And we have 1 spade loser because we're missing the King of Spades. Now, one alternate method of making a contract is to do a finesse. But of course, finesses only work 50% of the time. And so if we can find another method, that would be really good. So we look into the dummy and we see the Ace and King of Hearts. Well, those are nice cards. And we can get to the Ace King of Hearts using the 8 of diamonds or the 9 of diamonds or the Jack of diamonds. And we can throw away 2 of our spades. But that doesn't get rid of that extra spade, the Queen of Spades or the 10 of Spades, whichever one. Okay? And so what are you going to do about it? Well, you know, wouldn't it be nice if the dummy had only had 1 club, for example, and then you could play the Ace King of Clubs and throw away a spade from the dummy, and then we could rough some spades in the dummy, and we'd have some other options, but we don't have options. So now we're going to fall back on this heart suit. Well, it looks a little remote. It looks a little bleak. And the reason it looks bleak is because your side only has 5 hearts, for goodness sake, which means that the bad guys have 8 of them. And it's an even number. So most of the time, they're going to divide 5 and 3. Well, that's not good. But maybe just this once, they'll divide 4 and 4. And if they divided 4 and 4, why then the 5th heart in dummy would now be high. And we'd be able to throw away our final spade on that 5th heart in the dummy. And if it doesn't work, then we can still fall back on the spade finesse and hope that it works. So you're giving yourself 2 chances to make this contract. Okay, let's do it. The opening lead is the Queen of Clubs. Now, what we would really like West to do if they were a nice human being and a friend or a relative is to have led the 2 of spades. But against a slam, it's not a good idea to underlead an honor. Because if you've got some stuff, most of the time, partner doesn't have stuff against a slam. So you want to make a neutral lead or top of a sequence, never gives anything away. We win it with the Ace of Clubs. Now, we've got to work on those hearts, but there's no good not thinking about how we're going to get to the dummy over and over again, many times, in order to be able to enjoy, as we call it, the heart suit. Okay, the 5th heart. So we can play a small diamond over to the 8 of diamonds. Remember to use the smaller ones first. And now the Ace of Hearts, heart. Yes, you could have roughed small ones first, but it does, whichever suits you. And if you're giving count, West would play the 4 and East would have played the 8. Okay, now the King of Hearts, heart, and we throw away a spade. And we're counting all the while that 6 cards have gone, or however, whatever method you use for your counting technique. So small heart, small heart. Now we need to keep a couple of these little ones in order to get to the dummy. So be careful about that. Rough it high so that you can get back to the dummy. West should discard the 9 of spades, saying, partner, if you should get on lead, please do lead a spade because I've got something good in it. That's if you're playing standard signaling. And now we're going to play the hearts one more time with feeling and pray that they divide. And lo and behold, because you live right, they do. And look at this. They divided 4 and 4. And the Jack of Diamonds will get us to the dummy. And we'll now play our 13th heart. And don't trump it for God's sake. Throw away your Queen of Spades. And all the trumps are gone. And you say, the rest are mine. Okay? Excellent. So we're going to have one more hand now. I think we've got time for one more. And I'm not going to cover them this time, just in the interests of time. So I'm going to tell you that South opens the bidding with 3 hearts. And it goes double by West. It's a perfect takeout double. And North is going to bid 4 hearts. It's always hard to know how high to go when partner or your opponents have preempted. Okay, so we've got no losers in hearts. Always stop to count your losers. Okay, your opponents may be drumming their fingers on the table. That's okay, let them. Okay, but don't fall for that. Just you take your time, make a plan. You have no heart losers. You have no spade losers because you have the ace of spades over in the dummy. You have 2 diamond losers and you have 2 club losers. That's 4 losers. That's too many, 1 too many. You will always have too many losers. That's what makes bridge a challenging game. So the opening lead is the King of Diamonds. There is no point ducking it because they are going to continue with diamonds. King of Diamonds, Ace of Diamonds. We do have a long spade suit in the dummy, and that's what we're eyeing because that's what we're working on today. Long suits in the dummy. When partner lays down a long suit and 5-card suit in the dummy, you smile and say, thank you, partner. You can't do that on BBO, but you can do it in real life. And you always say thank you anyway, but you say thank you with more passion when they have a 5-card suit. Partner encourages, she has an equal honor to the one West she knows that West has. So we're going to get to work on our project suit. We need those trumps as entries to the dummy. So we can't pull trumps yet. And now we're going to play another spade. And you know, we're going to keep that 2 of hearts. You're going to see why we need to keep that 2 of hearts. Don't you be playing your little one. Don't be sloppy. Keep that 2. In real life, you take it out of your hand and you sit on it if needs be. Okay, now we get over to the dummy, lower card, and play that spade suit. And you're counting that spade suit, aren't you? Tell me you're counting. And now you're going to get back to the dummy. There's only 1 trump remaining. West is going to discard the 9 of clubs, playing standard. That says, lead a club or die, partner. Okay, and the 9 of hearts now bites the dust. And now we play 1 more spade, 1 more time with feeling. East can discard a high club as well. And we trumpet high, and West, King of Spades, bites the dust. And finally, our 6 of spades in dummy is high. And this is why we saved that wonderful little baby heart, the 2 of hearts. We now play the 2 of hearts over to dummies, 3 of hearts. And we now play the 13th spade. And we throw away a diamond or a club. It doesn't matter, whichever is your fancy. Okay. And now you're going to lose 2 clubs and a diamond, or you're going to lose 2 diamonds and 1 club, whichever you threw. Okay. And you make your contract because you developed your long suit in the dummy. Okay. Now, thank you for being with me today. I think I've used up all my time. Please email me with questions, or if you'd like me to send a copy of my newsletter to you or be on my newsletter mailing list, I'd be delighted to. It's barbaraseagram@gmail.com. And I'd like to thank you, and I wish you all the luck in the world. And I hope everything goes well for you, but play lots, because this is a game, the better you'll get so much better, so much faster. Practice makes perfect, as our mothers always taught us. And thank you. Best of luck. God bless.